Searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair with those eyes so bright.
Welcome back to Scheananigans, everyone. I am coming to you from my friend Jesse's lovely studio here in the back of Jay-Z Style Salon in Utah. I flew in specifically for this, and I'm like physically shaking to be in the presence of this week's guest. She is a boss lady, a tequila entrepreneur, a fashion queen, a mother who birthed Baby Gorgeous into this world, and the OG of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Give it up for my girl, Lisa Barlow.
Hey, Scheana.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you feeling good as gold today?
I'm feeling good as gold after that introduction. How could I not?
I have been wanting to get you on Scheananigans for so long. I'm so happy we're finally making it happen. I had to fly to Utah for it, but all worth it. I'm like, we got to do this.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
Me too. I feel the same way.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, are you in LA anytime soon? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Utah. I'll make it easy for you.
Come to the mountains.
Yes. I love it. We're driving here and my sister's looking around and she's like, all right, there's something about this place. Like the grass is green, the sprinklers are on, the streets are well paved. I'm like, is this our sign to leave California?
I think it's your sign. I think you guys are going to end up in the ocean.
I mean, it's so crazy how different.
It's so crazy.
But it's beautiful here.
Thanks. I
get
love
it.
it. It's so beautiful. I love LA too, but I don't feel like it's the same city it was pre-COVID. Do you?
No. And I mean, I'm born and raised there, but it is just different. And during COVID, I escaped. I went down to San Diego for a bit and then I came back and drove down Melrose and I'm like, what is this? All of these restaurants I used to go to, just so many things closed. I mean, it's definitely a different vibe.
I hope somebody wakes it up because it feels sleepy, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I was on the west side. Now I moved to the valley. It's fun over there, but it's different.
New friends?
Yes. New friends, old friends.
Reacquainting
New
yourself?
season, you know.
Love it.
So I thought to get things started, we could start with a little game called Code 1.
Code 1. Oh my gosh, I love this.
Okay, because when you were on the ropes course, they called it Code 1 when you asked for some help getting removed from the ropes.
It was terrifying.
It looked terrifying. Even, I don't care if you have all of the harnesses and everything.
It's still terrifying.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was scarier. Literally, when I said it's worse than childbirth, I'm like, get an epidural, and this is like way easier than this ropes course.
Yeah.
And especially being behind someone, I feel like I couldn't move as fast.
Yeah.
So my arms were like straining, and Mary was like so good at like giving me props and saying, you got this, but I'm like, please move faster, Mary.
Right. Just let's speed it up.
Let's speed it up.
So I want to see what situations, things, or people you might call a Code 1 on, meaning you want to just remove yourself from the situation or totally shut it down.
Oh, I like this.
Okay. Scrolls.
Code 1.
I'm like, was that a bit much? Like, did it get the point across? It was a little dramatic.
I hate props, and Jen Shah always used to have props, and I feel like Angie and Jen are the same with their blingy nails and their props. It's like too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was a love party. I'm like, why are you bringing this?
No, I mean, and that was down to the ground. It wasn't just a little like, okay, here's the list.
And you know, I feel like after last year's reunion, we know that Meredith was not even accountable for those things. So it was kind of annoying too.
Right. Agreed. Toasting your situationship partner, posting you on their Instagram page.
Code 1.
Yeah.
For
like
sure. Code 1.
Costco best friend. That is
What was that?
It's not a relationship announcement.
Oh my gosh. I sent Britani a TikTok last night with this girl saying that her girlfriend was dating Jared the same time Britani was dating him. And I'm like, he's such a little, can we swear?
Yeah.
Fuck boy. Like, but he's not even a good one. Like, I'm like, Jared, you suck at being a fuck boy.
Mm-hmm. Do better.
Yeah.
Bath bombs.
Ooh, we love those.
Do you think Whitney stole that from Meredith?
I feel like Whitney loves to terrorize Meredith with like taking ideas from her. Like even with her jewelry line, she knew, like I would never go into business and doing the same things that any of these girls do. So I don't think she stole the idea from her.
Because
but
she already had bath bombs, right?
I'm not sure about that. I don't remember if she had bath bombs. But I'm like, bath bombs are like a common thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Meredith is the bath girl.
She is the bath queen.
Totally.
Yeah, and I feel like she was just trying to like jab at her a little.
Okay. Calling pieces of couture costumey.
I think it can be okay sometimes if they look costumey, like...
I mean, the red heart did. It was a little over the top. So I'm like,
yeah.
get it. But couture,
I get it.
fashion.
I love Saint Laurent. I'm wearing it right now, so but not that hard.
Yes.
I think there's more than 3 in the world too. Like I know people that have it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you just got duped on that. Like I've had people at Chanel say, this is the only bag. We're only going to have 10 of these. And then there's 10,000 more. So
Yep.
she got duped.
Palm highlights.
Code 1.
When I was watching that, I'm like, oh my God, I had a trio. That feels like such a lifetime ago.
A lifetime ago.
So crazy.
You were probably in middle school.
I was in college, actually. Thank you. I'm almost 40.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting up there.
Oh my gosh, you still look 20s.
Thank you so
I
much.
love it.
I really
Forever
appreciate
immortalized
that.
in
My
your
daughter
20s.
asked me the other day, Mommy, what's that line right there? And I was like, oh, it's a smile line. She's like, no, what the line? I'm like, it's a wrinkle. And she's like, oh yeah, you have wrinkles.
Oh.
Thanks.
Brutal honesty.
Yeah, nothing like a 3.5-year-old to just put you in place, you know?
Oh my gosh. But you still look literally like you're in your 20s.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I need to talk to you though about what to do to just keep the skin young, like the threading and all of those things.
I think that's the best way to go because I don't like fillers. I don't like Botox. Little threads every now and then I think are good.
Yeah.
Once a year.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need it yet.
No, I've just heard about that recently. I'm like, ooh, we'll get into more of that later. Shopping in Utah. Like, is this a code 1 meaning
code
that
1.
you have to
code
get
1. I either have to fly to Vegas, LA, or have everything shipped to me. I have like 30 boxes in my front room right now.
Yeah.
And that's daunting too.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do you get all of these incredible looks from?
I have to, I have like shoppers at every single store. I have 2 personal shoppers that I'll send pictures to and I'm like, get me these things. But it's impossible to shop here.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like a D-list Nordstrom's and that's it.
Diet Pepsi.
Oh, code 1.
Yeah. You're a Diet Coke girl.
Diet
Same.
Coke, thick and through. I will
It's
miss
different.
I will change what airport I'm flying into if I know it's like a Pepsi airport. I'm like, I'm not flying in. Like, I'm not doing it.
So what happens if you go to a restaurant that's like a Pepsi restaurant?
Oh my gosh, I drink water.
Okay.
Or tequila.
Speaking of Diet Coke, what about G-Wagons not having enough cup holders to hold the Diet Coke?
I mean, I'm just glad my G-Wagon had cup holders. Like back like 7 or 8 years ago, they didn't have cup holders.
At all?
No. And I was like, we had one and we got rid of it really fast because I'm like, there are no cup holders in this car, so we can't have it.
Yeah, you need somewhere
that's
for
a
the
code
Diet Coke.
1.
Absolutely. Giving your friend a price cap on a gift you're going to get them.
I've never done that.
Like when Heather told Whitney to keep it under 500 at the crystal store.
Yeah, I was like, I've never done that.
Yeah.
But Whitney would go crazy in a crystal store.
Right.
She needs them to heal.
Girls trips.
I love girls trips.
Okay.
Sometimes I call a code 1. It depends on who I'm with.
Yeah. How about girls trips to Milwaukee?
I loved Milwaukee.
Oh, good. I can't wait to watch that.
Oh my gosh, Milwaukee is the coolest little city. It's like literally hidden gem. And now like since I've been there, I feel like everyone I know has been there, but it's like a really cool city.
Okay, good to know. Never
You guys
been.
are going to love Milwaukee.
I can't wait. CO2 lasers like Tamara just got.
You know, I would have said a code 1, but then I called my doctor and he's like, the type of CO2 laser he's giving me is a lighter one. I can't remember the exact name right now, but he's like, it won't damage your skin barrier. But Molly's products are really, really good.
You were just on Watch What
And my
Happens Live with
ring.
her. Ooh.
Can you believe she gave me this?
That's gorgeous.
I know, I died. I opened the box and I was like, this
Look
is
at that
insane.
ice.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Stunning. Jen Shah getting released from prison early and rejoining the cast. What about Monica Garcia coming back?
Code 1. I feel like Monica was tougher than Jen though, like in different ways. Like Jen, you could actually reason with. I mean, she was tough. She was like crazy online, but Monica, you can't reason with.
Yeah.
I think it was harder.
Do you stay in touch with any of your former castmates? Ever receive like any jail mail?
Oh my gosh, jail mail. No, but she did tell Murillo that when she gets out of prison, she'd like to have a relationship with me and Meredith.
Oh,
So that was like our jail mail.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't really have an issue with Jen. When she left, I hadn't been talking to her for like 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Like Heather's book finale, her book launch finale was the last time I saw her talk to Jen. We did exchange one text on Mother's Day where she said, Happy Mother's Day, and I said it back.
Okay.
But you know, Jen's crazy, but she's harmless at the end of the day, unless you're elderly.
Clearly. All right, last one. When people say one thing to your face and another on a podcast.
Code one for them.
Yes. Yeah. What a vile podcast that was.
Vile. Pun intended.
Literally. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not my favorite.
No, same. No. Yeah. Used to be.
He is vile. Mm-hmm. Is he getting divorced?
You know, I've heard rumors about some infidelity, but they still seem to be together. All of the girls from Secret Lives just did an episode with them, and I saw that and I was like,
Same.
Yep. Okay, we are going to take a quick little break. I have so many things I want to get into with you. We'll be right back. Okay, so if you're like me and you're not the craftiest person, but your kid wants to do something seriously fun for learning, I have the perfect thing for you, and it is called KiwiCo. This is for kids of all ages. They have hands-on projects and activities, and it makes learning fun. Each month, kids receive crates packed with engaging hands-on activities designed to introduce them to exciting science, technology, and different art concepts. There is always something new for kids to discover, and Summer has seriously loved this since she was only 1. They have things for kids of all ages, ranging from infants and preschoolers to teens and beyond. I still remember the first thing that Summer got. It was this little felt make your own cloud rainbow sort of pillow, and she's just obsessed with everything she gets. She loves to be artsy and crafty, and for someone like me who's not the most creative, it has been the perfect way for us to spend quality time together, and KiwiCo does the legwork for you. They'll explore new worlds and rediscover familiar ones without even leaving home. Give your kids the tools to learn new skills, build new experiences, and make new connections to the broader world. So redefine learning with play. Explore projects that build confidence and problem-solving skills with KiwiCo. Get 50% off your first month on any crate line at KiwiCo.com with promo code HONEY. That's 50% off your first month at KiwiCo.com, promo code HONEY. I'm a big believer that small, easy changes can have big results, and that goes for your skincare routine too. These days, there is so much out there, and it's confusing on what products work together and in what order. And we don't always have time for that, especially us parents, you know. I'm going to make it easy for you, okay? This is called the Work System from Dime Beauty. Dime Beauty is clean. It's a high-end skincare that is affordable, and it really works. Dime also didn't sacrifice performance just to make it clean either. So I have been using these products for like half a year now, and Brock has actually been stealing them from my little skincare fridge because he's been using them as well. I just wanted to take the guesswork out of my routine, so I started with their Works collection, which makes it so easy to not have to remember the order of a 10-step routine. It's like, I don't have time for that. You know, by the time I'm washing off my makeup and going to bed, I just want to go to bed and not have to think about all of these steps. So the Work System is everything you need in one powerful package. It includes a gentle cleanser, a toner, 2 incredible serums, and 2 luxurious moisturizers. Dime has over 2 million happy customers, and their product reviews are literally all 5 stars. Love your skin again. Go to dimebeautyco.com now and unlock your discount on the site. That's dimebeautyco.com. Dimebeautyco.com. Isn't it time you've checked out Dime? All right, so thankfully, Housewives is back for its 5th season. Last season, the show ended with one of the biggest twists in reality TV history. Heather revealed to the cast that, you know, Monica was behind the whole Reality Von Teese fan account. Going into that, I mean, that scene, it was windy, it was cinematic, you know, you're on the beach. Did you guys have any idea what was about to transpire?
I had no idea. Like Heather, like there was no signs of anything. She didn't say anything. I think she was figuring out what was going on while we were in Bermuda. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were good days in Bermuda. There were shitty moments in Bermuda. But that's the last thing I expected her to say when we were on the beach.
Yeah.
The last thing I was like, what?
I mean, the way
Completely
this
shocked.
season opened last season, and you know shit's going to go down,
Yep.
but then that, wow.
Yeah, it blew everybody's minds. And I think the craziest thing is that none of us talked about it. I don't think, even like during the summer, we didn't call each other, talk about it. It was just understood, like no one was saying anything. And I think it was just because she was so volatile. And I think we thought, like, if we even say one thing, she's going to attack with like 10 other things and create a new account.
Yeah,
So
right?
It was crazy.
So, okay, I have a question about that because Angie and Monica were both part of Jen's kind of like posse, right? Okay. I know that it's come out since that Jen knew Monica was behind the account, and I can see where maybe Jen, you know, like wasn't actually that close with some of the cast members to fill them in on Monica, especially since you wouldn't really know who she was. So maybe she would have been nervous that, you know, you all would connect the Reality Von Teese account to Jen also. But do you think Angie would have known anything? Like, was she close enough with Jen to...
I mean, they all did a WAP video together, so it would shock me if she didn't know. But I think Jen is also interesting, and I think when things are negative about her, she avoids them.
Okay.
So there's a chance that she didn't say anything to anybody else. I mean, Monica knew she was running it, but I think the way she interacted with Jen was like so obsessive. So I think like maybe Jen kind of knew, but didn't know who was behind it. So they would send out, you know, Sharif went to law school. They would send out letters for everything.
Yeah. Who from the cast do you think would be most open to reconnecting with Monica?
Whitney.
Oh, how come?
Because they're alike.
Monica
Not
claimed...
from the podcast standpoint, but in other areas of they're like 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
So Monica claimed that production tried to bring her back, but called you and Heather out specifically for preventing that, alleging that you threatened to quit the show if she returned.
It's my show. I'm not quitting. I helped bring it to Utah. I'm not quitting. I don't have that power. If I had that power,
That was my follow-up question.
I would have a better edit season 1 through now, because I think this season is like my season 1.
Yeah.
I'm getting accused of everything I don't do. It's annoying. But I'm like, I don't have that kind of power. Bravo would be like, bye.
Right.
You know?
I know. I feel like whenever people say that, I'm like, as cast members on a Bravo show, we do not have that kind of pull. Jax Taylor, Kristen Doty, they like say like that on The Valley. And I'm like, you guys, you don't. You're not a producer. Your name is not credited at the end of the season, at the end of the episode. So
it should be, but it's not. And I don't have that much power. And I think it's frustrating for me because I came to the reunion with facts and proof. Like, you know, Heather's like, Heather was so quick. Monica like said, I come with the facts, the receipts, the proof. And Heather was so quick to turn it back on her and say, well, that's what I have. And then at the reunion, like there were things that bothered me when we were filming, like the Snoop Dogg of it all, when she's like, you wanted to get on a private jet with Snoop Dogg. My friends were flying to meet Snoop Dogg for their business. And you know, like they always are like, you want to come? Do you want to come? And so I'm like, how would she have heard that conversation? And I ran into one of her friends and I said, hey, did Monica ever like log into Jen's security system and listen to her? And they literally responded with, how did you know? And they had proof. They had proof that when she got locked out, they had proof with videos that she was logging in. And those kind of things are dangerous. So, you know, like those activities are dangerous when you're logging into someone, you're doing drive-bys of their house. Like that's so invasive.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things that Monica couldn't get away from. And she couldn't say, I'm sorry. She did not take any accountability. We were sitting at the reunion and she's screaming, you're ugly. You look 50. Look at you. You're ugly.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like, how do you even respond to that? What do you say? No, I'm not. Like, no, I'm not. So she was like hard to deal with. It was easier to have a conversation with my 12-year-old than Monica. There were good moments, but a lot of bad.
But at the reunion, it was so immature with the insult stuff. And she brings out the fucking burn book. Yeah. Like, how old are we? You know, it was
mentally, she's still 13.
It was giving middle school. Absolutely. And also, like, who doesn't want to get on a private jet with Snoop Dogg?
No. I mean, I wasn't getting on a jet with him. I was getting on a jet to go meet him.
Yeah.
But she heard the whole conversation and it didn't make sense to me, you know?
Yeah. Well, kind of on that topic, but I've always been curious how certain reality shows come together, especially with the Housewives franchises, you know, because some shows are cast, some like Vanderpump Rules, it is an organic group of friends already, and how they pick, you know, just like with Housewives specifically, certain locations and whatnot. I heard or I read somewhere that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City didn't necessarily start as a Housewives franchise. Is that true?
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Okay, tell me more.
Okay, so I own an entertainment marketing company and I work with huge networks. At this time, I never worked with Bravo. I had like huge network clients that you would all know their names. I have non-compete, so I don't say anything.
Nope.
But I was working with them and David Levy, so I'll mention his name. He was running Turner Networks at the time. And they funded a pilot on me and a bunch of people. I had a restaurant in Park City. So this was like back in 2013. They spent the money, did a pilot on us, cast around us. And that didn't work out. Henry was only 2. I felt like horrible about it. I remember we were filming one scene in our house and he was upstairs with the nanny screaming for me. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do it. The timing's wrong. And then the production team that did the pilot was like, what do you want to do with this? And I'm like, I don't want to do it. It doesn't feel right. So then you fast forward to like 2019. I own companies with other like talent with WME, the talent agency. And so we were just talking through things. And then someone's like, you should meet my friend Michaeline. And I'm like, I'd love to do that. And then another person said, you should meet my friend Michaeline. And it kept happening. And finally we met. I was in LA for Denzel Washington's AFI Awards.
Oh.
I was doing a thing with Netflix with our Vita tequila. I did another thing with Vita on the Stars Network. And everyone's like, you need a TV show. Like, this has to happen. Like, you need to have a TV show because you do such cool things that no one knows about. So fast forward, they call me and they're like, hey, I think we want to do something in Salt Lake. Would you be willing to like be a part of it? And I'm like, absolutely. What's it going to be? And they're like, what would you want it to be? And I'm like, women in business, because I feel like there's so many women here in business. And I had just met Heather and we had done like Vita Tequila with this lounge that she was a part of during Sundance. And I'm like, you are the funniest person I've ever met. I'm like, if I ever do a show again, I will, because she knew about the pilot from a mutual friend from before. And I'm like, if I ever do a pilot again, I want you to be on it. And she was the first person I called and recommended. And so that kind of started everything. Meredith and I are super close. So Meredith at the time, I'm like, she's beautiful. She's funny. Her kids are really funny. So then they just kind of went down the rabbit hole. But I recommended hundreds of people.
Wow.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
And I was like, why aren't they working? What are you doing? What are you asking them? Like, why aren't they working?
No, it's always so cool to see how new shows come together, you know, because a show can't be successful just off an idea. It's the cast, it's the chemistry. That's what draws people in. And I mean,
100%.
5 seasons, so many more to go. It's such a great expansion of the franchise.
Last night I was in bed and I was like flipping through TikTok. And there's like a clip of me and Heather from our season 1 reunion. And I'm like, I'm going to talk for a minute, so I need you to be quiet. And I'm like, why did I say this stuff? It was like so crazy looking back. And I'm like, I walked into the party with a beautiful Cavalli jacket, perfect hair. I know I look good. And I'm like, why am I saying this stuff? It's so crazy.
Yes. No,
like
the amount of things that you can go back and watch. And I mean, you'll have so many more, but when you go back on the early seasons, I look at some of my interviews and I'm like, what was I thinking? I mean, I couldn't afford glam in the first probably 3 seasons at least. But I look back at some of my outfits and I'm like, who let me wear this? What was I thinking?
I always thought all of you were so beautiful. Like,
thank you.
Especially when you first started, you guys are like young and everyone's got these hot
innocent
bodies, so innocent.
Yeah.
Production's working you over.
Yeah. Then we were able to afford better food and then we actually had to start working out. And okay, still on the reality TV and how it started, because this wasn't your first time with reality TV, right? Didn't you appear on like Shaws of Sunset and Beverly Hills Housewives?
You know what? It's so funny. So I've worked with the same girls since like we started our tequila brand. So my friend Helena Goldglance, she lives in Miami. At the time she was living in New York. She was working with Lily Galici.
Okay.
And she's like, hey, we should like help her with a product line. And I like love marketing and branding. I create so many brands that you probably all use and you don't even know I was part of it.
Wait, I love that.
So yeah, so I did a lot of that. I've done some stuff with WME. I owned like a hair, I can say this, we sold the brand. I owned a hairline with 21 Products with the Bella twins.
Wow.
So I feel like I've done so much. And at the time, this is like so long ago, Helena was like, you have to meet Lily. I feel like you'll love her. You have to create a brand with her. So we were going to help be a part of like the bikini line and then expand that. And then things just kind of went a different direction. She went into lashes and it didn't work out. But I was on Shaw's on the phone.
But still, just like the little
so
bits.
funny.
I love that too with Bravo when you have the little bit of crossovers and you're like, wait, that's so-and-so from this. And
it's so crazy.
I know.
And then with Kyle, Helena also did PR for Aline too. Kyle by Aline too.
Yes.
And when she launched and opened up her boutique, we had our tequila there.
Okay.
So I was there. I just had Henry. Henry was like 6 months old. And I remember I was wearing a black Gucci dress and I'm like, I can't even believe this fits me.
Well, I have to say, you always look fabulous. I have loved you from day one. Every time I see you doing anything with Good as Gold, it just is like, I'm so honored. So the fact that you're finally here, I love it.
You're so talented. Like to sing that song is so hard.
Girl, I can't even sing it anymore. My voice is so raspy now. From the time I recorded that was 10, 11 years ago. Can you
believe that? Oh my
so
gosh.
crazy.
Yeah, so crazy.
Yeah, it was like 2014, I think, when I did that song.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, I cannot sing that high. So we had to do a new version, which is like the Screamo version with the band I do music with.
Oh, sick.
Just so I can perform it again because the voice just doesn't go up that high anymore.
No, it's really high. Like I was working with my vocal coach before I sang it.
I know, you told me that.
And I was like, help me. And she's like, you need to practice. And she had me like doing this kind of thing in a cup to open up. Do you ever do that? To open up your vocal cords? And I was like blowing bubbles in my Diet Coke. Last day of BravoCon, and it was like,
I know.
I was losing my voice, and I'm like, I don't even know if I can hit this. But I was like, Scheana's here. Like, you should be a housewife.
You know, maybe one day.
I think you should be.
Maybe. I am a wife. I have a house.
I mean, having you on the couch out there, I was like, this is like very natural, organic.
That was one of my favorite parts about BravoCon, because as much as I love most of my cast, it is so fun to be able to do things with other cast members. And I was the only non-housewife there. So I felt so honored. And everyone's like, is this, whatever, but
a little launch pad.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was so fun.
I felt like it was going to be.
Yeah. No, it was a great night. I'm sad that there's no BravoCon next month.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
They announced us at like the first ever BravoCon, and then we got to do 2 and 3, and we're going to wait on 4.
Yeah. So we're going to take one more quick little break, and then we will be right back. And now it's time to shift my wardrobe from summer to fall. And for me, it's always a challenge when the seasons are changing. We're going from crop tops to hoodie weather coming up soon, which I'm so excited about, but it is a bit of a challenge. And luckily, I have Quince. They offer timeless, high quality items that I adore. Summer is obsessed with. They're so cozy, comfy on her. And it just ensures that my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget, because one thing I hate spending a lot of money on is clothing. They have all of the items priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, premium fabrics and finishes, which we absolutely love in the Honey Davies house. Summer and I have gotten everything from cute little matching legging crop top sets to really nice cashmere sweaters. They have starting from like $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops. My favorite though are the sweaters from Quince, and we've just upped her wardrobe. So make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/honey for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/honey to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/honey. Okay, so I did a little quick dive on Wikipedia before we started, and I can't take Wikipedia always as being fact because people can go in and put anything. So I figured I would just ask you since you're here.
Okay.
So it said you were originally brought up in New York and your family was Jewish before converting to Mormonism. Is that correct?
We were never religiously Jewish.
Okay.
We're Jewish by heritage. And
Okay.
like my mom has always been like, be so proud that you're Jewish and blah, blah, blah. And I used to hate when people were, when I was younger, they would be like, you're a Christ killer. And I'm like, no, that's the Romans. You got it wrong. But we are Jewish by heritage, never religiously Jewish, and converted in New York when the missionaries knocked on my mom's and dad's front door.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
My
so
mom's like,
interesting.
I was praying for you. And we're like, why?
So what was that experience like for you in your youth? And how old were you when you moved to Utah?
I was 18 when I moved to Utah.
Okay.
And I was back and forth between New York and Utah.
Okay.
That was a unique experience for me because there were no Mormons. We had to drive miles for church. Like it took longer to get to church than church actually was, and then the same to get home. I think it was great from a value system. I didn't grow up in Utah, and they have like a culture and the value system. So I just grew up being like, I'm not going to have sex. I'm not going to, like in high school, I'm not having sex. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing drugs. I went to youth dances. We'd have to drive like to Connecticut to go to youth.
Wow.
Like I was part of like the New Canaan stake.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, a beautiful part of Connecticut, but we'd have to drive like 3 hours, 2 hours to get there.
Oh, that's
you know?
crazy.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any Jewish cultural traditions that you still embrace?
Well, our tequila's kosher, Holy
Okay.
Land kosher, and Passover kosher.
Love that.
And I just think like the Jewish culture is so great. Like, I mean, it's like amazing. And so like, for me, it was really important that we had our tequila kosher, blessed by a rabbi,
Yeah.
and the mark on the bottles.
That's amazing. Did you and Meredith initially bond over the Jewish background?
No, but yesterday we were talking and we're like, maybe we're cousins because we're both German Jew. And so I'm like, maybe we're cousins. And everyone thinks we look so much alike.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't be shocked.
Maybe.
And John is like, he's adopted, but his heritage is part Russian Jew.
Okay.
And German Jew.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is so crazy. And like her mom's Russian Jew. And she's like, maybe
Yeah.
we should tell everyone we're cousins.
Right? I can see it.
But
What were your thoughts on her decision to go through with a bar mitzvah later in life?
you know, I think it's amazing. I think, you know, Meredith's parents got divorced, and this is kind of her story to tell, but I don't think she was ever religiously Jewish. I think they celebrate the fun holidays. And Seth grew up religiously Jewish. So, and got bat mitzvah, or he got bar mitzvahed and things. So I think it was important for her, you know, to get bat
Yeah.
mitzvahed, especially after what happened a year ago.
Yeah, totally.
You know, devastating.
Yeah. I feel like when I think of Mormons, I think of mission trips as well. I know where my sister went to high school, there was like a big Mormon community where we grew up, one city over in Glendora.
Oh, I know
a lot
right
of
where
Mormons.
that is.
Yeah. And
Glendale, Glendora, like that area.
pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had a roommate in college from Glendale. Her dad ran 7-Eleven.
No way.
And she was from Glendale and converted to Mormon.
Okay. Yeah. So I know a bunch of her friends went on mission trips and whatnot. So I have to ask, how's Jack?
Jack's doing amazing. He loves his mission. He loves Bogota. His Spanish is perfection. And it's a really beautiful Spanish. Like Colombian Spanish is like sing-songy. So it's a really beautiful way to speak Spanish. We own a company in Mexico. So I don't know why. I didn't even think when he was going to get his mission call. I thought he was going to go to Romania. Henry thought Germany. John thought Russia. Well, not Russia because you couldn't go at that time. But when he first started talking about it, I think John was like, oh, maybe like somewhere in the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law got called to Russia. So like, I'm like, oh, that would be so cool if you spoke Russian, whatever. But when he got called to Colombia, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have a company in Latin America. And I didn't even think like you could go there. So it's pretty amazing. He came home around 9 months. He got really, really sick.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't, people were like, it's food poisoning. You gave him too much fast food. That's why he had to come home. That's not it. Jack was a really clean eater and super healthy. But they were really worried about his health. And they're like, you have to go home and get tested in the U.S.
Yeah.
And for the first part of his mission, they kept him in Bogota in one city. So he pretty much got to know everybody, everything about that city, where he could be close to the hospital because he went in and got tested once a week.
Oh, wow.
To make sure that he was going to be okay. And the only reason he came home is because he said, like, I think I need to come home, but I won't come home unless you and Dad get on a Zoom with my mission president. And he says, I can come back.
Aww.
Because a lot of times they come home, I think
Right.
only like 30% go back into the field. So he was worried he was going to be part of the 70.
Yeah.
So he was home for 3 weeks. He got tested. Everything looked good. We were getting his labs every week. So that was really helpful. We had our doctors here looking at him. And they're like, have him go back. And now he can travel all over Colombia.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so he'll spend the last half of his mission like everywhere.
Awesome.
Bougie places. Colombia is beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. We're going to go pick him up.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
I'm excited.
Nice. And how's Henry or Baby Gorgeous?
Oh, Baby Gorgeous is doing amazing. He's 12 now. When we started the show, he just finished first grade when we did the pilot.
Yeah.
Was going into second grade.
That's so crazy.
It's crazy because now he's 12 and he has a full head of hair. He's no longer bald.
Wow.
And well, he wasn't really bald. We shaved his head. Yeah. But he hated it. And I'll never forget the first day we were filming. He came home from school and it was dark out in the middle of the winter. He took off his Ugg boots, looked around, and he's like, I'm not doing this today, and took off running down the sidewalk. And now he like loves it, and I think it's fun for him.
Does he love that you call him Baby Gorgeous?
I think he does love it. It's his TikTok handle.
Yes. Oh,
Original
I love that.
Baby Gorgeous.
Love that.
You want to follow Henry?
Now, were you surprised when Jack decided he wanted to do a mission?
I was surprised because we go to church, but we're not like Utah Mormons where we are like, oh, you should go on a mission. You should talk about it. When he was younger, I asked him, do you think, like 6th, 7th grade, I said, do you think you'll go on a mission? He's like, don't ask that question.
Yeah.
So we didn't ask it again. And
Okay.
I think like his farewell talk was so amazing. Like everyone was crying. There was like 500 people there. And we were all crying because it was like really his decision. And he talked about how he got to that place. And I was shocked. I cried partly because I was like, this is a change. And I'm so happy, but also because I felt like, why did you keep this from me?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think Henry will do one?
He says yes. So,
Okay.
I mean, he'll be a crazy
and his older
missionary.
brother did, so.
Yeah, he's a good example. Jack's an amazing example.
Yeah. So are you allowed to visit him while he's doing his mission, or is it just like once a week you can talk?
Once a week we can talk. On Mondays we talk through Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
So we do a FaceTime through there.
Nice.
Every now and then I'll send him like a little message during the week and he'll heart it, so I know he got it. But he usually waits till Monday to respond, which I love. He's in AP right now. So that's like assistant to the president. So he's getting the business side of his mission.
Yeah.
And like traveling everywhere. Like he did something on his Facebook live. Like he posted something and I was like, oh my gosh, you're in like the most beautiful, beautiful place. This is crazy.
Yeah. That's so cool.
But it's hard. You miss him.
Yeah.
I can't wait for him to come home.
I cannot even imagine. I mean, mine goes to preschool for 4.5 hours and I'm like, what do I do with myself? The first week I felt so lost. So I can't even imagine when she goes off to college. And
yeah, it's crazy. It's a huge change. And our house feels empty. There's just like 3 of us now and it's empty. Henry's getting all the attention. He loves it.
I'm sure he loves it.
He's like an only child.
All right, as Andy Cohen says, switching gears. So we're only a few episodes into season 5 and the ladies are already just, shutting down the haters who didn't see how you could top the insanity of last season. But coming off of the last reunion where we saw you all like largely as a united front, what were your expectations going into this season?
I mean, I feel like so much of the focus was on the elephant in the room. And I feel like a lot of things didn't get resolved that should have been resolved. So I went into the season thinking like we're going to get things resolved. I felt like we were all closer because, when you film a show with people, you have a bond that no one else will have with you because they don't experience it. So I did not expect Whitney to go on a podcast the week before we started filming and talk. So I didn't care about the villain thing. I think that's stupid. It was all the other things she said that were so derogatory. But I feel like she's always trying to come after my character. And I'm like, you'll come after my character, but you'll be friends with people with the worst character. So it doesn't make sense. And I've never done anything to Whitney.
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but who have you felt the most let down by in this friend group?
Angie.
Oh.
Yeah, probably Angie. Just because I feel like we were such good friends. And she was on Watch What Happens Live and said something like, I saw it on TikTok, actually. They were like showing it again. And she was like, oh, that was already out there. I didn't share anything that wasn't new news with Whitney, but she was sharing a lot of things. And you can tell by the way they were talking, like in separate conversations, they were saying the exact same things. I'm like, clearly you guys are having lots of off-camera conversations. And it was the week before we started filming, before Whitney did the Vile Files. And I messaged her and I'm like, I'm not your storyline for season 5. And she's like, you're not. And then said something else. And I'm like, keep hilling.
Yeah.
You know, because she needs to.
I had messaged her when I saw she was doing that podcast too, just because it is so vile. And I was like, oh, when you go, he was at the time selling merch that said payroll husband, because one of the girls who used to be on Vanderpump Rules had made a comment about Brock and said he was just a payroll husband. And I'm like, that's
so insane. Brock is so amazing.
I know.
He's a hard worker. He's a great dad, great husband. He's so cool. John loves him.
Yeah. And he's actually the only person in my family not on payroll. Wow. And I'm like, maybe I should for like a tax break.
That's amazing.
So watching back the dinner scene at the Bezos party, do you think Whitney was ganged up on or steamrolled?
No. Do you want to know what ganged up is? Like me in Arizona, when everyone's coming at me and you're with people that like, for some reason, all hate you and you haven't done anything to them. That's a gang up. Meredith in Bermuda last year, that was a gang up. She did not get a break for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like hard on her to the point where Brooks called her and was like, can you put Lisa on the phone? And he's like, can you be there for my mom? Because we were going so hard on her because she was being accused of doing everything that someone else did.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, getting into some shenanigans with me. Be sure you are watching new episodes of Real Housewives of Salt Lake. Follow my girl, Lisa Barlow. You can see her occasionally singing Good as Gold. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back soon. Bye.